The prince's sword was gleaming at his waist. Betwixt the quillions laid the reddest gem, encircled by blue fire-painted case. The grip was grooved with leaves into a stem. A flower pommel rested on its end. The garden quillion's roots about the blade, itself a sharpened silver could contend, among the finest smiths had ever made. And yet upon its length it bore no stain, no thrust nor cut had ever broken skin. The brilliant blade outshone a history plain, in verse the prince whose mask hid strife within. He gazed upon the man who'd come to kneel, with hope a kinship past raised his appeal. The people of my town despair a war, whose end you might see brought before its start. A traveller cross our bridge spoke of a score against a reputation from the heart. She spoke her part not thinking of caprice, by lords who'd seal bend to their command. Now of your kingdom he would have his peace. No slight or ardour will be fit to stand as just enough a reason armies clash. To us his eyes now wander for a claim that he must burn your palace down to ash. Our taxes paid both ways he'll use to frame a threat against the borders of his land, and flames will salt the river we once spanned. My sister spoke against a crueler fate than most could face without a bout of rage. How might a princess speaking out relate to you so far you'd come to be assuaged? The prince did not omit the greater scope. His sister's wants were all that he'd effuse. It gave his oldest friend a sense of hope that naive notions might be disabused by conversations on the wider world beyond the walls he'd lived his life within. But once those darker shades had been unfurled, this second prince would face his first chagrin. Would then he see himself fit to defy the system that demanded his war cry? Our town is at the border of two lands, and soldiers from both kingdoms claim a tithe. Of late both sides have more and more demands, and soon we fear will die by sword or scythe. The river sets the border of your rule. Our homes sit on and by a bridge that spans those waters, forcing us each year to pool our grain and lumber so that we can plan how we'll survive the winter after kings extract a price for our convenience as their excuse to call upon the slings of war, and so they'll grant no lenience for we whose labour sates their lust to feast, and so our lives are valued less than beasts. I will protect my people from this blight. Do not concern yourself with foreign slights. I will ensure your safety from the fight. I'll always strive to drive away your plights. Petition still unheard, the man despaired. The prince assured to win now sat and preened. Such confidence opposed the rage that flared within the man who knew a greater fiend than reputation's clash beset his town. How could this prince be blind enough to think that this was just a spat between two crowns? The threat against his world too great to shrink, he stood to face this half-wit eye to eye. Such disrespect to form he'd surely die, for acts disgracing royals in their halls. No, I will not be your casus belli, he cried, ignoring guards who rushed with calls for him to drop back down upon a knee. A royal hand was raised to halt the charge. My wife will not be your casus belli. No threat besides this one could be as large. My son will not be your casus belli. The prince no longer sat upon his throne. His jaw was slack and eyes were filled with woe. Your son and wife, who I have never known. What I would give that I might watch him grow. I wonder now what you must think of me, and more so now I must reject your plea. He stumbled forwards down the stairs that led to equal footing with the man below. Then lower still he fell and bowed his head, and to his hands foregone his princely glow. That ghoul would have my sister for his bride. She is but 14 years and barely so. The thought alone has kept her terrified. There is no place beyond these walls she'll go. A consternation grips her every breath. So I must fight to see her life returned whence fates assign her heart an early death. Yet neither could I see your family burned. No choice avails except to draw my blade and see that evil's threatening mind be slayed. The army answer to their second prince. I know you have the power to give up my town for peace, and no one to convince. Since when did you start drinking from the cup of barren minds complicit in despair? Where is the boy who taught me how to read because he judged the system so unfair that he would not be bound by laws decreed in tyrants' times and days of moral wreck? Can you not see where devastation heads? This war you wage falls squarely on our neck. I understand the curse your sister dreads must always be a fate you fight against, but please seek ways my family aren't dispensed. The prince allowed a smile to ghost his lips. My capital is not quite so robust. The second prince can fall without eclipse upon the royal line to which we entrust stability, authority, and more. To cost my family face is well beyond the power dealt to me to take a fall. I beg of you to trust and not despond. I'll more than match the army he sends forth and ban my men from raiding nearby land. I swear your town and farms won't be excorth. I'll see no soldier raise a violent hand against your home or any that surround. An oath by which my army shall be bound. The man released a sigh, all hope now spent. He turned away without another word. Now still you must depart in discontent? The prince posed soft, his voice all cracked and curd. If disrepute would lead your heart from love, the friend I'd known lives not within these walls. The man so walked and left old friends above, atop the hill and bustling empty halls. The prince withdrew and gazed upon his sword, that tulip pummel, mirror of his tears. But one who hid and heard felt strength restored, and found resolve to rise against her fears. Before the night could fall, she'd start her ride, with youthful judgment flying by her side.